So I wanted to do a video about projection and narcissism and how this relates to the ROTC family of shows, particularly Adonis Paul, simply because he's the one spurging out like a maniac. Because what do you know? Mary can stand up for herself. Isn't that something? When people actually show her that there are people that understand that she didn't do anything wrong, and and people can look up that case. I'm going to leave links in the description like I did before and links in my community tab like I did before. Adrastia didn't do anything. Okay? And they can't prove that she did, and they haven't proved that she did. Quite like me, they just make up rumors. But I want to get this on about the projection, okay? So a lot of the things that they've projected about me, for example, pedophilia. Now, as noted, for example, I said that there are girls. The only thing they got on me is there was a couple girls on Instagram that followed me. I followed them back. One of them, I liked a couple of their photos. The other one, the young Southeast Asian girl, I liked a couple of her photos after they even brought to my attention I was following her. I didn't even know I was following her. But clearly if you look at other photos, they picked photos of her where she looks excessively youthful. But she's probably about 19 or 20, somewhere around there. And the thing is, it's like, whether I'm liking people's photos or not does not make me a pedophile. But this is a projection from Adonis Paul, because Adonis Paul is probably a closeted pedophile. He probably knows it's wrong to be a pedophile, so he's not consciously aware of the fact that he is a pedophile. So he's probably trying to build this wall up, kind of like how people that are the most homophobic tend to be secretly homosexuals. And a lot of what I do is, like, the funny thing is, like, I'll just say they're gay. And in most cases, I do think that Adonis Paul, Hatman, Royce Lopez, and Mersh, I do believe that they are a combination of homosexual and pedophile. And I believe this due to their projection. And you have Mersh actually stating that he wanted to have sexual intercourse with Dakota Fanning. He actually stated that publicly, that he wanted to have sexual intercourse with Dakota Fanning while she was a juvenile. So you have these people saying these things and behaving these ways and then projecting onto people like me that I'm a pedophile because I liked a photo on Instagram. And as I stated, number one, like for example with that young Mexican girl, like I said, I don't even know who that girl was. But this is what you have to understand. I follow a lot of people because I used to, not anymore, but I used to simply follow back people that follow me. And now I'm starting to realize a lot of that's a setup to try and paint a picture of me looking a different way than I am. But I don't know if that's somebody's niece or daughter or whatever. I follow a lot of people on Instagram. And if you look at the girls that I talk in a sexual manner to, they're all in their 20s, 30s, or 40s. Not one of them is a teenager. Okay? Number one. Not one of the girls I talk to like that is a teenager. I don't talk to teenagers or anyone else under the age of adolescence like that. Number two, what I would like to point out is I jokingly posted a picture of an adolescent Nastya Lukin. Now, I want people to understand Nastya Lukin is, I think, 32 years old at this point. She's a very famous gymnast. She was born in Moscow, Russia. People that know gymnastics know who Nastya Lukin is. And I jokingly said, I wouldn't break the law, but 16-year-old Nastya Lukin gives me a boner, right? That was a joke. And I did that because I'm baiting people like Adonis Paul, and it works every time. And then he comes back with law or not, legal or not, you're a perv, man, or something like that. And it's like, this shows that he can't come to terms with his own attraction to chicks that look like Nastya Lukin. Because the way I look at it, either he's attracted to Nastya Lukin, or he's a homosexual, or he's impotent as a result of the heart disease he sustained from his eating patterns and drug use. Any way you slice it, the dude's trying to cover up his own weird predilections, okay? With Hatman, Hatman had stalked me and catfished me and tricked me into sending him nude photographs of myself. Hatman is so gay it's ridiculous. I would assume that Hatman probably masturbates, he pleasures himself probably, to my videos, to my voice, to my photos. He is hardcore gay for me, okay? Does that bother me? No, not really. It's just he's a creep, man. He's a sick dude, okay? That's what my view is with Hatman. And you can also tell Hatman's obsessed with me because he'll share things that I share within seconds. Boom, shared, boom, shared, boom, shared. He's obsessed with me. He can't control himself because he's so homosexually attracted to me. And now this is the thing. He understands a little bit more, probably because he's received so much mental health treatment. He understands that projection is a sign that he's a homosexual. So instead of projecting, he pretends like he's perfectly fine with being homosexual. Of course he's perfectly fine with being homosexual. He's a homosexual. As far as, like, for example, that's one of the reasons I'll be like, Adonis Paul is gay. Because it gets to him. See, that's the thing with narcissists, is you have to find out what gets under their skin and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. And then you get people like Adonis Paul spurging out like he was last night on his live stream. And really the best thing you can do is ignore the hell out of them, which is very easy to do. I have no problem doing it. Like I said, I do have a friend that unfortunately watches Adonis Paul, so occasionally he'll let me know what's going on Adonis Paul, or if I'm hanging out with him, he'll be watching Adonis Paul. There's not a day that goes by he doesn't tell me if Adonis is talking about me or something like that, but I don't purposely watch anything. I didn't watch any of these shows. I quit watching them as soon as they started to chill, but then they started picking it up in my inbox and things like that. And that's when I was like, you know what? It's time for me to say something, and I need to attack back, and I need to attack back the same way they would attack. I'm very proud of Adrasdia, or Mary, for standing up for herself as well as she is. She's doing a good job. I think I've proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that Kathy is working with Hatman and with these other programs to make Mary appear to be mentally imbalanced. And what I would like to point out, now, mind you, I'm not a mental health professional, although I did work in the field of mental health. I'm not currently a mental health professional. But what I want to be certain that people understand, I had a similar situation as to what I believe Mary is going through. When I was a young person, my father committed suicide. I stated that. So my mother and my brother tried to have me seem mentally imbalanced. They would have me committed to mental institutions. They lied about symptomology. And what people don't understand about the mental health field is a lot of times they go with what the family says and they discount what the patient says. So it was determined, they tried to have me determined to be mentally unstable, mentally unwell. And when you're younger, when you're like 13, 14, 15, you don't play ball. You're resistant, okay? So when you're resistant to people bullying you and trying to convince you of things, you get aggressive, okay? So when I was in some of these places, I got aggressive. And that only makes you look worse, okay? But you don't think about that when you're 13 or 14 years old, okay? Long story short, my brother and my mother did not achieve at getting me to be deemed mentally incompetent, which was their goal, because I'm not mentally incompetent. See, that's what people don't understand. What scares Mary's family, I think, is the fact that they probably owe her a pretty penny. As far as, like, Mary brought up about land that was worth $1 million or $500,000 or something like that, they probably owe her a considerable amount of money, and they need her to appear as mentally imbalanced as possible. And the fact is, this is exactly what my brother and my mother did to me. And I'm not a narcissist. I'm not. See, now my brother and my mother were very narcissistic. Very well. I wouldn't even consider them narcissistic. My mom perhaps was narcissistic. My brother is a stone cold psychopath, which explains the criminal record and things of that. He is a stone cold psychopath. He sees people as nothing but not just objects, but tools to get or obstacles in his way to get what he wants. Okay? He has no respect for the law whatsoever. He doesn't even have enough respect for the law to say, if I do this, I'll get in trouble. Like, he doesn't even have that, and he's not a stupid person. He actually has a very high IQ. He just has no impulse control and no sense of delayed gratification. That's just how he is. That's how he's always been. Very intelligent, very poor in his ability to delay gratification, and very bad social skills. He has an inability to see people, as emotional beings and things of that nature. He just sees people as a means to get what he wants, and that's all they are to him. And this is no different than the ROTC folks, or in Mary's case, the situation she has with Kathy, her aunt. And I think what you see, now this is the thing. What threw me off is I started trying to understand narcissism because of the trolling and how narcissistic abuse and trolling go hand in hand. Links will be in the description. I encourage people to check out the links in the description. There will also be links about homosexual projection, how people that project homosexuality usually are pretty gay. And if you notice, Adonis Paul is he's not just anti-homo, like me. I'm morally against homosexuality. I'm morally against homosexuality based on a societal evolutionary idea, okay, of what fits Western society the best. Adonis Paul is violently anti-gay. He wants violence to be committed against homosexuals, as you can see in his streams. I don't really care. I don't care what two adults do. If they start involving children, that's a different story. I don't agree with touching children in ways that they shouldn't be touched because they can't consent. Now, Adonis Paul's, his pearl clutching over the fact that I posted a 16-year-old Nastya Lukin. What he doesn't understand is the age of consent in a majority, I don't know if it's a majority, but in a large quantity of the individual United States, and I believe the state of Texas is even lower than Pennsylvania, but a bunch of the states in the United States, the legal age of consent is below the age of 18. The magic number 18. For the majority of human civilization, it would not be uncommon for someone in my age group to be dating someone that's, 16, 17 years old. Not saying that I look for girls that are 16 or 17 years old. I would probably, right now I'm single, but I would probably look for a girl that's probably 20, 21, 22, somewhere in there. And the reason why is because, of course, I wouldn't want somebody that emotionally immature. But some, it depends on where you're at, what the laws are. But Adonis Paul's projection of this is so morally wrong, oh my Lord Jesus. I think what's going on with Adonis Paul has stated that he does have a daughter. I think that Adonis Paul is hyper sexually attracted to his daughter. And what he does is he thinks that everybody else is a pedophile because he's projecting his own pedophilic urges onto every man around to cover up, because that's his way of externalizing his own pedophilia. Just like his hatred of homosexuals is his way of hating the homosexual inside him and trying to eliminate the homosexual by externalizing it onto other people. Okay, I think Adonis Paul is a very sick person, very sick, mentally sick, a big danger to society. He admitted to being on Zoloft, on Daywave. He admitted to having firearms. We all know that antidepressants, and I'm going to leave a link in the description, antidepressants and mass shootings go hand in hand. Very terrible, very terrible. These drugs are probably a big factor in mass shootings, and these things need to be looked at. Okay. You have the same problem with Mersch being a drug addict and an alcoholic and a pedophile that has stated that he wants to have sexual intercourse with a juvenile. Publicly stated that he wanted to have sexual intercourse with a juvenile. And I'm not talking a 16-year-old or 17-year-old or 18-year-old. I'm talking about a 9-year-old. Dakota Fanning, when she was like 9 years old, he stated that. You dig what I'm saying? The guy is a stone-cold pedophile, a stone-cold pervert. And these are the kind of people that people are like, oh, well, James made a joke. Like, for example, I made a joke that I knew up on good authority that that Adonis Paul was a, quote, big fat poopy head. And the good authority was my girlfriend that I was getting back from a date at Chuck E. Cheese's, which was a joke. And why do I do that? Because it gets under their skin. As I said, with narcissists, you have to find out what gets under their skin. I know that no matter what, when you Google search me, I come back as a pedophile. I come back as a serial killer. I come back as this and that. And why is that? It's because of the untruths that these people are telling about me. I noticed that, again, Adonis Paul is showing my false criminal record, which I checked. It is... They're using it incorrectly. That is not my criminal record anymore. It's online, but it is not my criminal record. I checked to make sure. I took care of that. Not mine. It is my brother's. And they're trying to make it appear as though it's mine because that's what they found on the internet. And they're making it, but legally it's not mine. Which is probably why I didn't have any trouble with Argentina. Okay, that's probably the reason why. Now, my point is these people have completely destroyed my life. Based on what? Based on the fact that they thought they could get away with it. Well, they're not going to get away with it. They've destroyed my reputation. I'll never work in the martial arts field again. I'll never work as a personal trainer ever again. And why is this? Because people that Google me are going to think I'm a pedophile or a rapist or a womanizer or a stalker, and none of these things are true. And why is this? Because people like Adonis Paul, Royce Lopez, Mersch, J.J. Stoner, these people have put these false things out there about me, just like they did about Adrasdia, claiming that Adrasdia was a murderer. Adrasdia is not a murderer. She was not found guilty in a court of law, okay? She's not a murderer. There's no evidence that she committed any murder. There's no evidence that she participated in it in any way. These are the facts, man. But you can deny the facts and fabricate and bend truth and everything you want to do. That's fine. But it's not true. You're just distorting the truth to make Adrasdia appear mentally imbalanced. My presumption is that you're either being paid by Aunt Kathy, Adrasdia's Aunt Kathy, or you're simply doing it because Aunt Kathy, Adrasdia's Aunt Kathy, made you aware of it, and the result is that you're making money off of it. And that's what's going on. And, you know, the projection of the pedophilia, the projection of the homosexuality. One of the things that I think is funny, what people need to understand, what don't I get mad about? You can call me a homosexual all day. You can call me whatever you want all day. You can call me a pedophile all day. It doesn't get me mad. Why? Because I don't care. I'm not a homosexual, and I'm not a pedophile. So I don't care. I'll laugh it off. I'll make jokes about it. I don't really care. Okay? Now, people will say, oh, well, you got so angry over your former friend and the accusations that were made about your former friend, so that means you must have did everything that she... No. What that means is I actually cared about my former friend, and I really did. I genuinely cared about her. But even if, like, say, for example, by some miracle, if they got her to think that what she did wasn't wrong, because I'm pretty sure that's what happened. I think that she started actually reading a lot of the messages I sent her, and she started understanding, oh my God, James really does care about me. That's probably what happened. Unfortunately, I don't care about her anymore because of the way she treated me. I would never be mean to her. I would never hurt her in any way. I'm not even angry at her. I'm really hurt by what she did, and I can't trust her again, and I can't ever be friends with her again. But I'm not really angry at her. I think she was misled, deeply misled, and I think she was hurt, and I think she was angry. I do think she was angry, and I think that she had a misunderstanding, and she was thinking with rage instead of with reason. And I forgive her for everything. I really do. She's forgiven for everything. I don't care who she's dating or not dating or anything else. I never did. I cared about her for a lot of reasons, not just because I wanted to, breed with her, as I said. That's a naughty word. I can't say the word breed on here without everybody going, oh my goodness, he said the word breed. Well, what do you think the purpose of a monogamous relationship is? It's to breed. So my point is, and it is kind of sad that she lowers herself. Like, this is the thing. I don't doubt for a second, now that I know more about narcissism, I don't doubt for a second that she's a narcissist. However, she's a highly intelligent young lady. Even if when she was nice to me, she was only nice to me because I was nice to her, that doesn't matter. Even if it was like what, they call it the narcissistic fantasy or anything, it meant something to me, okay? And that mattered to me, okay? So people can judge my relationship with my former friend any way they wish, but the fact is, that meant something to me. That's why I would get angry at that. Call me a pedophile all you want. Call me a homosexual all you want. It doesn't matter. And now, like, even if you were to get, my former friend to attack me again, although I don't think that's in the cards for you folks. I think she sees you for what you are at this point. But even if you were to get her to attack me again, it wouldn't matter because nothing she says matters to me at this point because I see that it was motivated by rage, misplaced rage, and also by profit because she was being offered money and sponsorship by CBDX through Randolph Vance. So I see what was behind it. I see that it was you were corrupting her with financial gain to harm me. And I think after she looked through everything that I said, and that I meant everything that I said, and that I wasn't trying to have, I wasn't going down there to have sex with her or to hurt her in any way. I wanted to make sure she was okay, and I think she understood that. And I think that's why she stopped. But you people with your projection, you ruined my life. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to forget about you folks. And this idea that I'm playing right into your hands by defending Mary, no. I'm defending Mary because it's the right thing to do. I've been defending Mary since I found out about this. It's just once you find out more and more and more and more the levels of ferocity. You people are so ferocious to a defenseless woman. And that's what you're saying. Like, this is what you have to understand. This is what I want people to understand. Now, because my former friend looked the way my former friend looked, everybody wanted to defend her from this big, bad meanie, right? When really all I did was love her, okay? Because Adrastia isn't what society would consider attractive, nobody cares what people do to her. They hurt her. They're very nasty to her. The only person I know that stands up for her, besides Donovan, I think Donovan Schultes stands up for her here and there, is a woman. You people know who she is because you harassed her and Niece Wolf harassed her. But not too many men are willing to stand up for Mary. And the thing is, it's because they lack the ability, like they lack the empathy. I worked with a lot of crazy people, okay? I'm going to say it just like that, a lot of crazy people. I worked with a lot of homosexuals too, which is why Hatman and Adonis strike me as very, 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 very homosexual. But the thing is, imagine having problems understanding reality from fantasy or reality from threats, and then having people constantly threatening you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year over YouTube, over other means of social media, Facebook, email. I know that it bothered me to an extent back when I cared, But you have to understand see, I only have post-traumatic stress disorder. Like, I have post-traumatic stress disorder. Sometimes I do have what's called depersonalization, which is it's very hard to describe depersonalization so people can understand it. But I'm not a complete, this is the thing. Depersonalization is almost kind of like delusion, but to have it true delusional thinking patterns, like Mary probably has to be diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder, that's scary. And you people scare her and torment her and try and make her life as much of a hell as you possibly can. Okay? And these are the people that are trying to have me deemed a horrible, rotten person. And really, the trolling with me, it did stop. My assumption is that my former friend said, you stop bothering him right now. And it stopped because, of course, Royce is, Royce is controlled by her because he can't, he's under the control of her because he can't believe that somebody that adorable and that beautiful even said hola to him, because he's such a fat, disgusting, useless, smelly piece of crap. And he's just amazed that somebody that looks like that even said hello, that he does whatever she says, and she probably said, leave him alone. And they left me alone. I don't know how she said it, but that's probably what happened. And then you people picked up again through the emails and other formats. Most of it's catfishing attempts on Instagram every 15 frickin' seconds, basically. But you tried and you tried and you tried, because I started defending Mary. I started defending Adrasdia. And you know what? If you're going to try and harass me, you're going to get it back. You're going to get it back. And I think what the thing is with me is, you thought I was just some, stupid son of a bitch or something like that. No, you don't know me. You don't know me. And, my pretend karate master, I gave you his name. I gave you the school that he currently owns. That's not the school I went to. No, my Dan certification is real. The fact that I've taught martial arts for years is real. The fact that I've taught women's self-defense is real. The fact that I've taught law enforcement is real. Okay, the fact that I've been a security guard is real. Why the hell would anybody make that up? There's a lot of facts that you just don't understand about me that you refuse to believe, or you might want to contort to make it look. I've never claimed to be anything I'm not. You people like to try and say I've done that, but I haven't. Okay? And to think that you people, see, the thing is, you can't physically intimidate me. You can try to. It ain't gonna work. I'm not easily intimidated in the real world. You can try and do it online. You can even try and intimidate me with law enforcement, but it doesn't work because, like I said, I went to school to be a police officer. I majored in criminal justice. I know how police operations work, and I know nothing's going to happen to me because I didn't do anything. Even if I'm unlucky enough that they're stupid enough to believe the stuff, which they're not, but if they were and they arrested me and I went to court, nothing will happen because there's no proof unless the proof is fabricated. And if it ever gets to that, they'll know it's fabricated. Plus, I have proof in the opposite. I have so much proof in the opposite, it's ridiculous. Okay? So it's like, keep it up. Keep it up. Whatever. You're not going to physically intimidate me. You're not going to intimidate me over the internet. One of the best things to do is just not watch anything, which is what I was doing. And you people are just human garbage. Totally human garbage. The fact that you would treat somebody like Adrasdia the way that you treat Adrasdia is just disgusting. And, I'm not going anywhere.